Okay, so let's go ahead and go over the warm-up. So whenever you have, it says which expression is equivalent to. So they have the same variable. So this is just going to be either reduce, distribute, or box method. So you're going to take the first one to the first one, all right? There is an invisible 1. So 1 times 2 is just 2. Now, you are adding the exponent, so 1 plus 1 is also 2, or as I like to ask students, how many n's do you have between the two numbers? And they say 2. The next thing you're going to do is take 1n times 7, so to the second number in the parentheses, and you get 7n. Your first number has now touched the two numbers in the second parentheses, so you're going to go to -4. So then you have -4 times 2, which is a -8n, because there's only one n between the two numbers. And then lastly, you're going to take -4 times 7, which is a -28. You aren't dropping down any n's, because there's no n, it's just a -4 and a 7. Then your second step is to combine like terms. I can combine 7n because it has 1n, and 8n because it has 1n. Then you're going to come here, 7 minus 8 is going to be a -1n, and then you're going to drop down everything else that you didn't use. And that's going to be your final answer, and your answer is D. Now here, anytime we have answers in parentheses, we're going to think quadratic formula. So our A is 24, our B is -22, and then our C is going to be 5. You need to write down the quadratic formula, and remember this is an important step because if you don't write it down correctly, then you're going to substitute incorrectly and you're going to get the wrong answer. So from here, everywhere you see a letter, you're going to put parentheses. So there's a negative, and then there's your B, so I put an empty parentheses. The square root, your B squared minus your 4, this would be your A, this would be your C, all over 2, and then you have A, so you're going to put parentheses. Now we're just going to substitute where everything goes. Your B is going to go right here. Another B is going to go right here. And then you have your A's, which are right here in these spots, so you're going to put them in those spots. And then lastly, you're going to have your C, which is going to go right here, and then that's 5. Now, the biggest thing is make sure you're putting it in the calculator correctly. Then you're going to get x equals 1/2 and x equals 5/12. Well, these are not our factors. These are actually our solutions. So we have to keep going. A fraction means to divide. So the inverse or opposite of division is multiplication. I'm dividing by 2, so I need to multiply by 2 in order to cancel these out. They cancel out because they equal 1. And what I did on one side, I'm going to do to the other. So then I bring this down because 2 times x just gives me 2x. I didn't touch the 1, so I bring it down. It has to equal 0. Well, the only other way to get 1 to equal 0 is to the inverse or opposite of a positive 1, which is a -1. So now this equals 0. I can't combine 2x and -1 because the 2 has a variable and -1 doesn't. So 2x minus 1. And this is one of our factors. So I'm going to do the same concept to my other solution. I'm dividing by 12, so I'm going to multiply by 12 to both sides. 12 times 1x is just 12x. I didn't touch the 5, so I bring it down. Again, it still has to equal 0. Well, that's a positive 5. Inverse of positive 5 is -5. I can't combine the 12x and the -5 because one has a variable and one doesn't. So this equals 0, and this is our other factor. And that answer is going to be C. Now, lastly, on our warm-up, all we have to do is combine like terms because there's a plus sign. So I'm going to get 5RT, and I'm going to add that to 6RT. That gives me 11RT. Then I'm going to take -3RW to -4RW. So -3 plus -4 gives me a -7RW. So I'm going to look at my answer choices. I'm going to get rid of A because that doesn't have a negative 7, and I'm going to get rid of C because that doesn't have a negative 7. So lastly is going to be my negative 8 plus my 2. Make sure you're putting this in correctly because some people are going to say 10, and that is absolutely incorrect. It's actually negative 6TW. People are going to say 10, which is why they put that answer choice there, so make sure that you are putting it in the calculator correctly.